Ladies and gentlemen, so our next session of Changelog. Before we get to that, hope everyone had a good lunch. Yeah. What really very exciting for you right now. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Ruben Young, the COO of Zcoin. So before he comes up on stage, let me share you a little bit about Mr. Ruben. Now he's multi-talented. Prior to starting Zcoin, he was operating one of Southeast Asia's largest VPN providers while running a law firm, is that correct? A legal firm, right? And he's also one of Malaysia's, one of the earliest pioneers of cryptocurrencies, adopters of cryptocurrencies in Malaysia, being the first merchant to accept Bitcoin and altcoins back in 2012. And he also runs his own dojo. So, yeah, that's also very, very interesting. I think he's got some stories to share you about that later. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Ruben Young, COO of Zcoin.
Hello everyone, I'm Ruben. I am from Zcoin. We are a private cryptocurrency. So basically, we have launched since 2016. We were the first ones to kind of pioneer the sort of blockchain privacy systems where instead of mixing with other coins, we kind of pioneered the use of the burning and redeeming method. So what that actually means is that, because remember in blockchain, every single transaction is linked to different addresses and all sorts of stuff. And that's actually what breaks your privacy. And why is that actually a problem? The problem is that when you make a payment to someone, you are effectively giving information about yourself. For example, if I have 100 Bitcoins in a particular address and I pay someone, let's say for a cup of coffee, that person who received whatever coins from that address now knows that I have at least 100 Bitcoin. Now, if I just look even back in the history, because remember in Bitcoin, every single coin has its entire history totally visible and public. I can start actually drawing a lot of inferences about how much you earn, where you get your money from, who you get transacted with. And we think that this is one of the fundamental problems in blockchain technology. You want to have transparency, but at the same time, there needs to be the same kind of privacy guarantees in traditional finance. So that's what we're trying to solve here. And how Zcoin's method in how we solve it is basically we allow people to destroy their coins so they stop existing, and then later on they can redeem them for brand new ones with no previous transaction history. And that's actually achieved using what we call a zero knowledge proof, which proves that you have burned the coins before. We started with the Zcoin protocol, which is now to be confused with Zero Cash, which is used in Zcash. We then moved to something called Sigma, which actually is a much improved version of Zcoin, with no trusted setup, using basic cryptographic building blocks, which is really good. And we're actually really excited with the new privacy protocol that we have developed with our own research labs called Lelantis. And Lelantis is named after the Titan god of being unseen, and later we'll talk a bit more about that. We are quite a small, lean team. We have a team of 19 people, more than half of them developers, some researchers, and 6 operations, including myself. Quite a global team. So I think I'm the only one that I kind of followed the format. So the entire development team is funded from the block rewards. We take a dev tax of 6% of the block reward, and that's equivalent currently to 12,960 roughly Zcoin per month. And at current depressed prices, that's about 71,000 US dollars. So it's relatively lean. And this is just kind of like the breakdown of how we actually spend. As you can see, 46% of it is mostly in development, there's some in operations, and you can see 13.1% is like miscellaneous, which is basically paying for integrations and things like that. So it's quite a lean team, and we have actually achieved quite a lot considering the budget. So just a bit about the block reward distribution. So obviously we are a proof of work coin, but we also have master nodes as well. and this is just talking about the distribution of how it works. So currently, you can see that miners have about like 56%, Znodes about 30%. The founder gets 2%, seed investors 6%, and the development reward gets 6%. So this is the current the distribution of things. And after halving, which is coming in about September 2020, that founder rewards and that development rewards totally cease, and miners get 70% and Znodes get 30%. Now, originally when we started Zcoin, we were kind of like optimistic. We thought that after 4 years of development, we would have achieved sufficient traction to, let's say, like work on a donation model similar like to Monero. But this hasn't really panned out, and we are still, for the moment, the development still really relies on our centralized team. There are discussions on our forums, which is ongoing. We welcome anyone who cares about to contribute what should be the distribution. Currently, we're thinking about having a dev reward of between 10 to 15%. Community seems to be positive about it, but we want to hear more feedback on that. So let's talk a bit about what we have done in the past, especially 1 year on our privacy tab. So in about July, we released what we call Sigma Privacy. And Sigma Privacy is actually a development from a paper by Jens Strom, and it's called one of many proofs. And previously, it was thought that this protocol wasn't that scalable. But we actually managed to optimize it really further, and it has really, really good properties. It allows this burn and redeem mechanism, and it doesn't require trusted setup. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with Zcash. Zcash is using zero-knowledge proofs, and what they do is there is actually what we call a trusted setup ceremony, where a bunch of people have to get together and destroy certain initial parameters. And if that's not destroyed, coins can be forged. So it's effectively, you can see as like a backdoor. But this type of constructions do not require. And we're seeing really good take-up of this. There's 95,000 Zcoin that has been gone through this process already. But what's really exciting is the Lattice, which is our next-gen privacy protocol, which further expands on the Sigma privacy protocol. And it's actually being treated very, very seriously. So anyone who knows about privacy coins has heard about Monero, has heard about Wimble. And now, coins like Monero, they're starting to realize that the privacy technology, especially when blockchain is permanent, may not be good enough for the next few years. And they are actually thinking about how do we scale the privacy solutions even further. So for those of you who are familiar with Monero mixes with every single transaction, it mixes with probably 10 other people or so. And that doesn't really provide very good privacy. So now they're thinking about using our technology to scale to ring sizes of 1,000 beams or something similar. So we've been actually, our paper was accepted to present at one of the crypto conferences. So we're really excited about that, and a lot of researchers are starting to look at our technology over there. And it's homegrown, totally by our own research team. So just for those of you who are privacy enthusiasts, you can take a quick look. You can see that Lattice performs very well in comparison to the competition of leading privacy coins. So it's a very high anonymity set, no trusted setup, good proof sizes. So it's just good performance all around. We can check it out. Now, one of the most important things is that we've been criticized for having a QT wallet, which is the basic Bitcoin wallet, which has a lot of people say that it doesn't give a good user experience. We've been working on that, and we have a new GUI that simplifies it and encourages people to use the privacy system as well. There's already the beta release out, so you can download it from the GitHub. Now, in terms of development, what are the sort of near-term goals that we're looking at? Right? So now we've just started on our mobile app development. We do have mobile app support, except that it doesn't support our privacy features. We're working with Edge Wallet, which is an awesome wallet, open source, and we're hoping to have the privacy system integrated into that. We expect it to take maybe another 3 or 4 months to release that. We also have a core upgrade and Znode infrastructure. So we're thinking of using LMQ Changelog, which comes with Dash, and what that actually provides is it's like 51% attack protection. So with proof of work, we are vulnerable to 51% attacks, and as a smaller cap coin, the miners not necessarily always behave honestly. So having the masternodes further secure that is a great improvement. We have also something almost complete in another 1 or 2 months or so. It's called the Exodus Smart Asset Layer with Sigma, which actually allows people to issue tokens on Zcoin's blockchain for whatever reason. And the best thing is that it has privacy built in, so that you can use the privacy features by just out of the box without having to build complex smart contracts and that. And that is really, really interesting applications. For example, if I want to build like a voting system, for that election and carry out very cheaply on Zcoin. So that's really good. Another thing that we're looking at is receiver address privacy. So one of the problems is in Bitcoin is that we tend to give out the same address. Well, let's say we publish a public address on the website. If I take a look at that website, I can tell exactly how much this person has received in donations or receiving. And that's a big privacy risk because I want to be able to publish my address publicly and put it somewhere, pay this address, but I don't necessarily want to reveal how much I've actually received unless they really want to. So what this actually does is that I can publish a public address and payments can come to it automatically. And what happens then is that people can pay to it, but they can't actually see how much this particular address has collected. So it is a very good privacy feature. So what have we been doing on the adoption? I mean, we can build all these fancy toys, but there's no one using it. There's really no point. And that's been a real criticism, I think, of maybe 90% of blockchain projects. Build all these fancy toys, raise huge amounts of money, only to just speculate and talk about. November last year, we were actually like the first blockchain to be used in the political election, where the Thai Democrat Party actually used the blockchain to elect its party leader. And over 127,000 votes were casted on the blockchain nationwide. And that was like a pretty momentous occasion. The results were ready within a few hours. No one contested it, and it was like a real step forward in getting blockchain voting working. That's why we're also developing that Exodus token with Sigma privacy to allow other people to do this in a very easy and cheap fashion. And of course, we're not talking about using this for national elections. When we're talking about national elections, stuff becomes a lot more harder because you need to verify from the hardware layer, the software layer, and that's a lot of stuff. But we're talking about, let's say, like internal company meetings, or you just want to survey your community. These are great ways to have anonymous but verifiable voting. Because a lot of other blockchain voting systems is transparent, which is horrible. If I can tell who has voted which way, there's no point in this voting system. So that's really exciting development. Another thing that we did just I think last month, which is an integration with the national QR code system. So Thailand actually has quite at the forefront of this. They have something called PromptPay. And PromptPay is a Thai QR code system that is in very, very wide use. Almost half the population has a PromptPay account. And there are about 5 million merchants and rapidly growing every month. So there's about 5 million merchants right now. So we actually have our founder actually also owns an exchange. There's a beta app release, and payments is that merchants do not want to learn how to use a wallet, learn how to deal with volatility, learn how to register on it. Accept Bitcoin. And the first thing I asked was, can I convert Bitcoin to cash? Because obviously this Bitcoin thing was funny money to me, right? I didn't know what it was in 2012. And I feel that you need to go through that process of saying, okay, I'm going to accept Bitcoin, but I'm going to convert it back to cash first. As I get more confident, like, hey, I'm getting regular payments in Bitcoin, the price is holding up, there is value to this thing, it's not just like some fancy money, then I start thinking maybe I don't want to convert anymore, and I think that's a more realistic way of getting long-lasting adoption. There's been many other projects that actually have tried to do like adoption in the sense that get merchants to sign up a wallet, accept the crypto in its native form. But what happens is that after a while, maybe they only get like one customer every 2 months or 3 months. Their employees forget how to use it, and the adoption just drops off. So plugging into a national QR code system, ideal, it's not centralized, it's still a centralized system, but we see it as a first step to get a nationwide adoption, people comfortable in using cryptocurrencies. So we have it's usable in live right now. There are some quotes, some QR code systems not completely supported. We're working through these quotes, and there's actually going to be box mining video out later today that expresses our successes and some fails as well. So it'll be a pretty interesting, realistic video that you can take a look at. So yes, you can find out more Zcoin.io. We have a really vibrant Telegram community that's also linked to our Discord. And if you want to find out more about our privacy protocol, it's at thelantis.io. So if anyone has any questions about Zcoin or what we're doing, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. If you have any questions for Mr. Ruben? Any question behind that? Any questions? Okay, no problem. Let me ask Mr. Ruben a question. Now, actually, if you guys checked out our social media feed, CoinGecko, we actually have this live. So we have a lot of people actually asking questions right now. One of the questions that was posed for Ruben was this. If projects like Monero and Mimblewimble coins like Beam are looking at Zcoin's tech, Atlantis, and implementing them, what would be Zcoin's advantage?
That's an excellent question, because obviously all the tech that we develop is open source, even all the papers that we do is like public for everyone's knowledge. But the way Monero is actually implementing it is different than us. So as previously mentioned, like Monero is thinking of increasing its ring sizes from 11 to maybe 1024 or so. Mimblewimble is also thinking of Beam is also has a prototype built on our technology, the Atlantis, with some modifications, and I think it's a good illustration. Like everyone thinks.
Very much. We have one question here at the front. The gentleman, hold on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hello. So could you tell us a bit more about the integration with PromptPay in China?
Yeah, sure. So in what aspect do you want to
Is it just used for payments, for example? Are there other applications that you're considering?
Currently, we are just looking at just for payments, and how that's done is because our founder has a regulated exchange in Thailand, one of the 3 exchanges which has this license. And what that happens is that people sign up, and it just gets converted to Thai baht, and the Thai baht gets settled to the merchant. Right? So it's just like a seamless end-to-end thing. It's centralized for sure.
And what kind of information is the QR code encoding?
The QR code encodes basically its bank account and merchant ID. So I would say it doesn't provide any privacy for sure, but it's just like a step that we can use for like a credit card. So.
Thank you very much. Sir, can I get your name?
Oh, Jonathan from Tardigrades Tech with NUS.
I love tardigrades.
There you go. You have a fan. Okay. Any other questions? Gentlemen in white?
Hi, also Jonathan from Hong Kong. Can you share with us more about how you're going to deal with the redemption and the issuing aspect? Because if it's privacy focused, wouldn't it transfer the Bitcoin to that process? Because you, the foundation or the Zcoin company, would have all the information about who redeems and issue to who. How do you address this issue?
You're talking about the smart asset layer, or you mean just the privacy system?
Privacy aspect.
Okay, so this is really we don't know. We don't have any control of it. It's a totally cryptographic protocol, and when you burn the coin, it just you actually make a commitment to the blockchain as a cryptographic commitment or a Peterson commitment. But what happens when you redeem the coin? It's not done by us. It's actually a zero knowledge proof, a mathematic proof that proves that you destroyed the coin before without showing which coin that you destroyed. So okay, let's say like you destroy coins, right? And then any one of you then show like kind of like a receipt that I burned coins before. This receipt allows me to, the protocol allows me to redeem brand new coins to the same amount that I burnt, but without actually showing which coin I redeemed. That's done through mathematics. Yeah. So it's nothing to do with us. The protocol is public, and just from the math alone, you can't really tell like this one.
Thank you. Any other questions from the floor? No? No questions? Okay, well, this is another question that came on our Twitter feed. Now, privacy coins have been subjected to regulatory scrutiny recently. Do you think Zcoin will be affected?
I mean, definitely. We're seeing a lot of regulatory concerns, with governments explicitly or soft ban privacy coins. I think this is kind of sad but inevitable. Like I think one of the common things that I find really sad is that privacy coins have been used as a scapegoat. Like I think the most common, like the example would be like in Japan, where there's a coin check hack which then was stolen, and no privacy coins were involved in this hack. But what happened then was they banned privacy coins in response to that as a scapegoat. They had nothing to do with it. So of course, like yes, governments, it's not actually that they're against anti-money laundering or whatnot. I think it's because privacy coins affect their ability to control, their power. And how do we play around this? I mean, the first thing is that yes, we are not saying that use Zcoin for illicit activities, and that's why we feel that positioning ourselves that we have voting applications, working with political partners, to show that privacy is not just about money laundering and things like that. Privacy actually, if you take a look like above this, I don't know if anyone's watched Netflix, The Great Hack. It's now people are a bit more aware that we need privacy as a basic human right, and that's really sad in Asia that we aren't seeing this, because digital payments, e-wallets, WeChat Pay, Alipay, everything is like replacing cash. But at what cost? Now these companies and governments have full knowledge of who you're paying to, how much you have, and I think that's a real problem. And I think one of the really interesting things is Germany. Germany is a country that's really, really advanced in almost all aspects, but they love cash. They refuse to move towards digital cash. Why? Because they view that the ability to have private physical cash is a check and balance to government, or like government overreach and paper stuff. So yes, obviously, if people want to be against, there will always a jurisdiction to do this thing as long as there's a demand. What I think would be a more wise approach for regulators is to accept that this is going to be really hard to control, but the way that you can limit the damage is by actually making the regulated exchange support those privacy coins. The regulated exchanges require KYC, require AML, and if all the liquidity and all the large amounts of trading on that exchange or this regulated exchange, you're not going to have to worry about all these money laundering concerns. But if you ban it, it just goes totally underground. So I would say that we have to embrace that this technology seriously. I mean, even when Bitcoin was first started, governments also reacted the same way. So hopefully they'll come to the sense.
I'm pretty sure you'll all come to a senses soon. I mean, it's something really interesting. So you mentioned just now that you got involved with recent elections in Thailand, right?
Yes.
Right. So just something very interesting I just came across. I was reading about Zcoin. So can you share with
what actually happened is Iran is suffering from very, very widespread floods. They're affecting huge, like a few 100,000 people of their population, and people lost. So a bunch of crypto enthusiasts in Iran, they are actually quite well known in the Iranian circle. They said, why didn't I just start accepting crypto? And they Say, okay, we'll accept Zcoin, and there's a couple of $1,000 was given to their effort, and a lot of them were actually to our private transactions model, which we thought was particularly interesting. I think it's an interesting use case. I wouldn't say that wow, we're so happy that we're being used to bypass sanctions, but it's and all these proceeds are going to the real person, so it's not as if we're funding terrorism.
But that's a really good story to share, right? Okay, we have time for one last question. Anybody? Is there another question for you? No? Okay, well, if not, then Ruben, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing us more about Zcoin.
Thank you very much.
All right. Up next, we're going to hand the floor to Global.